Welcome back to Ask the Attorney. We've got Kevin Kennedy here from the Kennedy Law Firm in Clarksville. And already the phone lines are lighting up.
I saw all that. We're glad. Let's get to them.
All right. Lots of questions. Call that number at the bottom of your screen, 737+, 737-7587. And we have James, who's been waiting patiently. Hi, James.
Hello.
Hello. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, Mr. Kennedy, I talked to you here a while back about wills out on paper and stuff, and you gave me good advice.
Well, thank you. I'm glad.
I have a lady friend that I've known for 12 years who died. Her heart quit for 11 minutes back in 1986. Well, the hospital was the reason she died. It was their fault, and she got money out of it.
Okay.
Well, she loaned a friend of hers $1,800. Well, her brother took her to court and deemed she could not handle her finances, and he got control of it.
Yep.
Okay? She's got short-term memory because it bruised the memory part of her brain.
Yes.
Other than that, she's smart as a whip. She just 10 minutes after you're talking, she, you know, if she don't make a clip note, she forgets what you were talking about.
I got you.
But she remembers everything from 86 back.
Okay.
I went to court with her. She wanted to buy her a home. Well, they refused to give her her money.
Yes.
And I used to be a biker. I still have a beard, long hair. And that lady judge down in Franklin said, Miss Prince, we're trying to protect you from people conning you out of your money, and wheeled around and pointed and said, "Now I mean you," and pointed right at me. And this lady never seen me before in her life.
Yep.
And had me escorted out of the courthouse.
So is your question, sir, how to, I guess, contest this conservatorship that her brother has?
He gave it up. He had it, and he turned it over to the court of Williamson County in Franklin.
Well, here's 2 or 3 things that, you know, in Tennessee, you have your mind. You can still operate. You could have some short-term dementia. You can have some lapse of memory, and you can still operate. If they get 2 doctors to say you need affairs handled by someone else, they can file and get a conservatorship. Once that order is done, and usually the court will appoint a guardian ad litem to go and look after that person's rights, then that controls. So if you ever get to the point that some of your family members were to fire on you, you still have to get you a lawyer and fight them all, and we do that all the time. It was interesting you said that you're still a biker. Well, you know, I still ride a motorcycle too, so I know how that is.
He just doesn't have the long hair and the beard.
Yeah, but the truth of the matter is, you know, conservatorships, for all those who are listening, if you've got a loved one and you know that there's problems and they're going to get worse, then go get a conservatorship. If you still have your mind and you think your family is going to get a conservatorship so they can get control over your estate, then you need to get a lawyer and fight that off. And we do that both ways every day. And sir, I want to thank you for trying to help this lady and go to court, but many times probably she needed your help when all this was going on to begin with. You know, they call a lot of things in the law res judicata, means that part is already settled. If she gets her mind back, then she can hire a lawyer and file a petition, say, look, I want it dissolved, I'm better, and a doctor said this woman can handle her affairs. So you can share that with her, and thank you for the call.
All right, we've got Christina here. Hi, Christina.
Hi, Christina. Thank you for taking my call. I have a question. I had a divorce several years ago, and my husband was given the home, and so just directly after that, I signed a quitclaim deed and signed my rights over to him for that home.
Okay.
And unfortunately, he has now defaulted on the loan.
Yes, I knew that was coming. And so let me just tell you the problems where we're dancing.
Okay.
You know, if Amy and I were married and we bought a home together, she signs the note and the deed of trust and we have it. So then we decide we're going to divorce. I say, okay, you take the house. I can quit claim the interest in that home, but I'm not released from the mortgage. So if Amy pays, I don't ever have a problem. And if she doesn't, the bank will then come back and sue me. Or Amy files bankruptcy. She says, I'm not paying. I went broke. Then here comes the bank for me. So a real good divorce lawyer would say, you're going to have to refinance this. However, get your daddy to sign, your grandmama to sign, everybody or we'll sell the house, Amy, and let's settle these issues now. And if you're married to an irresponsible, you're just begging for problems down the road. And that's why I would have let me have the house. I'll give you a little money, and we don't have this lawsuit looming over us for the next 20 years.
Yeah, so you don't have the bank coming after you.
But go
later.
see a lawyer. Many times you can file for contempt. That final decree may say that he was supposed to pay for it and hold you harmless. Then we would fire him on up.
All right. We've got Doug here. Hi, Doug. Doug, can you hear us? All right, we may have little technical difficulties with Doug, but I think we've got Mike who's waiting here. Hi, Mike.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes,
My
Mike.
son and his fiancee were living together in my home for about 4 years. They had a child together. They were doing good for about 8 months. They split up, and of course, her being the mother, she took the custody of the child.
Yes.
And so they decided on visitations would be he would have her 3 days 1 week, and then he would have her 4 days the week after that. Kind of joint custody thing.
I got you.
Back after January, she got married, and her husband said that all that was going to stop. She took the child. We haven't seen her since.
Oh boy.
We don't. She moved from the home where she was at. We don't know how to get in touch with her, how to even serve her to go through the parental rights to get visitations and
All
things.
right, I got some ideas for you. We see that
and do they
happen.
still look at grandparents' rights?
Okay, I'll address both of those. The first one, I would go hire a lawyer and do a people search on her. Like at the Kennedy Law Firm, it cost us a bunch to keep access to all these search engines. And so I remember when we took it, and they said, well, this is really expensive. And I said, in the big picture, we can deliver in close calls. So I'd go see a lawyer and see if they have the access to the people search, the most sophisticated one. That's what our number one choice is, to go find that. Number two, they talk about grandparents' rights. If grandparents want to have some rights, get involved with those grandchildren. It's some gray areas. If the grandparents were there, and what y'all should have done was taken a proactive approach. If for all these who are out there and you've got children that perhaps is living with someone, please see a lawyer early. Take a proactive approach. And there's always something, because some days people are agreeable and they will sign saying, hey, okay, grandparents, y'all can have 1 weekend a month, and then we get a weekend and we'll work this out. And if you get anybody to agree, they've just submitted to the jurisdiction of that court. So a very skilled lawyer is worth their weight in gold. For how long? That child can be in and out of court till they're 18. So I think that's the biggest point. I'd get me a people search, I'd get me a lawyer, and we would move, because if they ultimately get away, every year is very precious for a grandparent and a parent in the development of that child. And what do you live for, and what do you work for, and why do you slave? For your family.
Yeah, that's true. All right, we've got, I think, Doug back here.
Okay.
Hey, Doug, can you hear us now?
Yes, I think so.
All right. How can we help you today?
There's a term that I've heard used for years that I've heard people say called common law marriage.
Okay.
And I wanted to know if this is actually anything that is legally real, or is that just a term that somebody came up with that they imagine is real? Or
Okay,
Well,
Doug.
it's real, but not in Tennessee, right?
That's it, Amy. Amy, you're right
Ding, ding,
on
ding.
it. Ding, ding, ding.
I don't usually do family law, but I remember that one.
Right. And again, even though we say, Kevin, we've had this 25-year relationship, and we own a home, and we own a car, and we've had all this, hello, come in. You need Kevin Kennedy. Because they say, wait a minute, we don't have common law marriage in Tennessee. I said, no, but they got Kevin Kennedy. And I said, here we come. And I said, we're going to file this petition. We're going to settle up this partnership. And by the way, you made many representations that she has relied on all these years. And we would prove those, and we would move right on. And so, you know, there's 9 ways to skin a cat. And at the end of the day, when they say, okay, well, I'm home free, whether we called it attorney's fees, whether you called it spousal support, alimony in solito, alimony in futuro, when it's all said and done, he's still going to write a check. Do we agree?
We agree.
Okay.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back with Kevin Kennedy after this.